So I wanted to make this video because I'm not a perfect photographer. I make mistakes and I wanted to share one of my mistakes with you guys. I just want to make it known that I'm not using this video as an excuse. I don't want you guys to feel sorry for me. I really want you guys to learn from this, and I'm making this video in hopes that it will help prevent this from happening to other photographers or just anyone in general, to be honest. So I want to talk about the day that my hard drive stopped working. And this happened a little over a month ago when I was in Australia. I feel like it couldn't have happened at the worst time and place. I mean, I've traveled with my hard drive before. I didn't think much of it. I was over at my friend's. I was visiting in Melbourne, and I pulled out my hard drive from my backpack so I could edit some videos on it. And when I plugged in my hard drive, nothing came up. And even talking about it now, it stresses me out a little bit because, at that exact moment when I plugged it in and nothing came up, I'm like, okay, it's okay. First of all, stop playing games, hard drive. We've been through a lot of stuff. Like, now's not the time to act dramatic. So I was like, okay, let me plug it back in, see if, it's just that maybe it didn't read it the first time. I plugged it into another USB, nothing happened. It was making a buzzing sound and it was lighting up, but it wasn't doing anything. So I restarted my computer, still nothing. It was the same exact thing. The hard drive kept on buzzing. So my friend was like, hey, maybe it'll just work on my computer. So we plugged it into her computer, and it was like making a sound where it's like doo-doo-doo, but nothing was coming up. And at that point, I start freaking out immediately. I kind of already know what's gonna happen. I'm like foreshadowing to the future, and all I can see is despair, and I was a lot of crying. Oh God, that was about to happen. We called the PC doctors in Australia, and they said that they would send somebody out to come check it. So I'm like, okay, let this guy come out. Maybe he can fix it. Maybe it's a software issue. So he comes out, and he looks at my hard drive. He starts plugging it in and out, and he opens up the encasing, which kind of makes me nervous. But then again, I don't know too much about hard drives, and I figure he's the expert, so he probably knows. So while he's doing his thing, I'm like over there. I feel like I'm waiting for someone to come out of surgery. Like, I'm just sitting there in the waiting room, like, okay, what's the diagnosis? Like, please tell me they're gonna be okay. He tells me that it's a mechanical issue and he can't fix anything, and I have to send it out to a lab. They charged me $150, and actually they took out $5 because I didn't have $5 Australian, so thank you for the $5 off. He spent like 30 minutes with us, and I think I was just very stressed out. Obviously I was upset. Like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do after this. And I was to stay in Australia for about almost a week after that, so I had to kind of just stay with my hard drive. I felt like I was stranded on an island with my hard drive. Like, okay, it's gonna be okay. I think one of the hardest things was being in Australia and not knowing if they can fix it or not. Like, if it's even possible to fix it. Because, sometimes they can't fix your drive at all. Like, the files are too corrupted, or the drive is too damaged for them to do anything. So there was just that thought in my head, like, what's gonna happen if my drive can't be fixed? Like, what's the next plan of action? And that was what was scaring me the most, is like I just needed an answer and I couldn't get one. So when I got back to the United States a couple days later, I took it straight away to a data recovery company, and they did a diagnostic on it. They told me that the read and write heads for the disk were stuck and that it was a mechanical issue, and they gave me an estimate of about $2,970 for it to be fixed. And they said they were confident in 90 to 100% recovery of almost all my files. So I know that is a lot of money. A lot of people are telling me, oh, you could have gotten it cheaper, you could have taken it here, but for me at that point, I really just wanted the situation to end. So, knowing I really felt confident that they could deliver, I got 90 to 100% of my files. So I decided to go with them. It was such a stressful situation. I wasn't thinking like, okay, like, let me get the best deal, like, okay, let me shop around. At that point, I'd already paid almost close to $500 to see what was going on with it, that I was like, okay, you know what? I just want this to be finished. I know this is going to really good hands, a very professional company, and I know this will be taken care of. So that was my thought process at that point. I think the total cost of this, including the diagnostic, the initial diagnostic that I had to pay for, and then the actual recovering of the files, the new hard drive that I had to put it on, plus the shipping and all of that stuff, it totaled to about $4,000. I have to pay for my mistake and being kind of careless and not precautious enough. And yeah, that was my mistake. Though I didn't do anything to directly cause this, I could have been more prepared for it, and I wasn't. So again, this definitely was a huge learning experience. And now I want to talk about what I learned and how you guys can prevent and avoid this from happening to you. Okay, so a very big one is to back up your backups. And this is something that I wish I was just more on top of. So I think we all get comfortable in our routine and comfortable with just our drive, tossing our drives here, putting them here, which is what I did. I really just put it in my backpack and went. And I traveled so many places with this drive. So I never thought, hey, it's gonna just stop working out of nowhere. It's not like I did anything differently. It just literally stopped working. So it's not something that I personally did. These drives are not made to work forever, and that is why it's important to always have a backup of your backup. So if something does happen, you always have that you're always covered, okay? So maybe you could have 2 drives and mirror them so they both have the same information. So if one drive does fail, you always have that second drive as a backup. Why stop at 2 drives? Do 3. Do 4. If you could do 4 drives or 5 drives, spend the whole day. Spend the whole day just backing up your drives. Have a party, invite friends, and then, just sit and wait for the files to load. Watch Seinfeld. Another thing that was painfully obvious, but something that I just didn't think twice about, is using online storage. So, as someone who personally has been through a flood and a fire, I know my luck sucks, okay? I'm working on it. I'm trying to get that good juju back. Something out there just doesn't like me. I don't understand. Did I break a mirror when I was younger? Did I open it and okay, I did, but God forbid your hard drives are involved in a fire or a flood and you lose everything. You lose your physical hard drives. You at least have everything on the online storage. And the nice thing about it is you can access it anywhere you go. You don't have to have a physical hard drive. You don't have to worry about, if you drop it or if you break it or anything happens to it. You just upload your files online and they're there for you. Just like a good friend, like State Farm, are they still using that motto? No. After the situation happened, I was researching some online storage systems, and there's Amazon, Google, there was Sync, but I decided to go with Dropbox just because I'm really familiar with it. I've used it in the past, and it's just an easy system for me to use. I like to just drag and drop, so I'm using that right now. I believe I'm on the premium or the plus plan. I'll link it below if you're interested, and it's just easier for me to use. So if you guys have any recommendations for online storage systems, let us know. I'm sure maybe there's even some that are better than Dropbox that are more affordable. So leave those recommendations in the comment section below. I'm sure other people would really appreciate it. So another thing is, don't travel with important hard drives. Just keep them at home, you guys. Just don't even take them outside. If you're going to travel and you have a couple of shoots lined up, maybe don't take your hard drive. Maybe take an USB or a spare hard drive. Or again, you can use that online storage. So when you're finished with your photo shoot, you can just upload it online. If you can minimize the amount of traveling that you do with your hard drive, I would definitely recommend it. And this is coming from someone who has taken their hard drive pretty much everywhere. I literally took my hard drive to the Middle East. So if you are traveling and you are going to take your hard drive, I would definitely recommend a protective cover case for it. And this is something I bought for, I think it was like $15 or $20. And 100% would recommend it. So the hard drive goes right in there, and then you put the cords in here. And I'm trying to do this backwards. Okay, here we go. And you close it, you take it with you somewhere. Anything happens, it's pretty sturdy. And I hope me knocking on that didn't just corrupt the drive. Okay, thank you. Okay. There's probably going to be a part 2. I didn't even have that before. I don't even know why I didn't have it. I don't know. I just did everything wrong. The next thing that I want to talk about is having JPEG versions of your photo shoots. So if you're like me and you shoot in RAW, you know that first of all, those files are really huge. You need like a freaking warehouse for one photo shoot to store the files. So if you have JPEG versions of those files, then if anything happens to your raw files, you always have those JPEG versions. Worst comes to worst, you can edit those. At least you will still have them. They won't take up that much space. You can easily put them in online storage and have access to them whenever. So definitely something to think about. Another thing that people who were talking to me about is, you know, showing up to the photo shoot and, you know, camera malfunctions or things go wrong. You know, this stuff is very possible. So always have spare batteries, always have spare lenses, a spare camera body if you're shooting a really big event. Just have spares of everything. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, nothing's, you know, this is a new lens, but you know, sometimes your lens will have autofocus issues and it won't work. And that's happened to me on a couple of shoots. So always have a second lens just in case. I'm gonna close this video. I'm not really closing anything. I'm gonna wrap this video up because it's almost Christmas. It's a good Christmas pun. I'm gonna wrap it up. You know, you can be the most cautious photographer out there and really take good care of your stuff, and this will probably still happen to you, and you just have to be prepared. This is why I'm pleading with you guys to please take my advice. Be a little extra cautious. Have that second or third backup. I hope my story scares the crap out of you guys. You know, I know Halloween has passed, but Halloween is forever on this channel, so if it scared you, then God bless. I did my job. Like friendships and relationships, you know, hard drives, lenses, cameras, all of that stuff. It's not gonna last forever. If it did, okay, that's actually very impressive, and you know, give me a call. Have you guys ever been through something like this? Has your hard drive stopped working? Has your computer stopped working? Let us know in the comments. Share your experiences with us. Let's have a conversation about this, because I don't feel like people really talk about this in the photography community. Let's try to prevent this as much as possible and help out other photographers in our community. I think it's important that we support each other and talk to each other about this. So leave your recommendations, thoughts, experiences, all that good. Just talk about your life. Thank you guys so much for watching, and good luck out there.